Hello, my name's David Hughes and I'm currently leasing a Hyundai Ioniq 5, which I really like. But when the lease expires next year, I'm going back to a petrol engined car. And here are the 6 reasons why you shouldn't be thinking of buying or leasing an EV yet. First is the price. Electric cars cost about £10,000 more than their petrol equivalents. There's a decreasing number of cars which are just petrol or diesel, but there are some examples. Peugeot 208 GT petrol costs £25,350. The electric version of the same car costs £35,295. The Mini 3-door auto petrol costs £22,935. The electric version costs £32,550. And of course, the bigger the car, the greater the difference between the petrol version and the electric version. A BMW X3 costs £48,000. Its electric version, the iX3, costs £65,000. A £17,000 difference. Second, vehicle excise duty. In other words, the annual road tax. At the moment, electric cars pay no annual car tax at all. But from 2025, all cars will pay a standard £180 per annum, however, whether they're petrol, diesel or electric. However, any car with a list price over £40,000 will pay an extra £390 on top of the £180, making the annual cost for the first 5 years £570. This will affect most electric cars because most cost more than £40,000. Even a mid-range Vauxhall Astra or the Golf-sized ID3 cost more than £40,000. Third, the cost of insurance. In the last year, all car insurance costs have increased significantly. But according to Autocar, whilst petrol car insurance went up 29% last year, electric insurance was up a whopping 72%. The insurance companies say that the reason for this is the 50% premium in repair costs for electric cars over petrol cars. They also spent 10% more days off the road. So, if you buy an electric car, prepare yourself for a huge insurance premium. Fourth, range. My Ioniq 5 has a quoted range of 280 miles, which when 100% charged. In fact, on a mild day, the theoretical maximum range is about 260 miles. On a cold winter's day, that drops to 220 miles. Then there's the phenomenon that if you start with, say, 260 miles range and you drive 100 miles, the range drops from not 160 miles remaining, but 140 miles. So if you're doing a long journey, you need to keep a constant watch on your range because it will always be less than you think. Remember also that the ranges I've used above assume a 100% charge. But almost all manufacturers advise that in order to keep your battery in good condition, you should not charge it for more than 80% if possible. That's why manufacturers tend to quote how many minutes it takes to charge from 20% to 80%. So if you follow the guidelines, your theoretical maximum range, will be 80% of the quoted theoretical maximum range. So in fact, on a cold winter's day, I'd be lucky to get 180 miles range for my Ioniq 5. Now there are some cars in the pipeline which offer longer ranges than the fairly standard 250 to 280 miles. For example, the new Peugeot E3008 with the longer range battery has a claimed range of 430 miles. But this improved range hasn't been achieved by advances in battery technology. No, it comes from having a bigger battery and, of course, a higher price. This car is estimated to cost well in excess of £50,000 when it arrives. Now, £50,000 for a mid-range Peugeot? 3 years ago, this money would have bought you a top-spec E-Class Mercedes or a BMW 5 Series. Fifth, availability of public EV charge points. If you use your car for pottering around town and doing short distance journeys away from home, and you have a phone charger, then this section doesn't apply to you. But if you don't have a phone charger and or you use your car for journeys of more than 100 miles from home, you'll have to contend with the well-publicised issue of the lack of public chargers. Long journeys need to be carefully planned with the aid of the Zap Map app. Logging into this app, you will see a vast number of charge points throughout the country. However, if you then filter the map to show only chargers with speeds of 50 kilowatt hours or above, the number of charge points drops dramatically. The chances of finding a charge point exactly on your route are slim. You'll have to make a detour or of some sort to find a charger. And when you find one, you will often discover that either it isn't working or that there is a queue to use the ones that are working, and you have to wait. And if, for example, you're going to rural Herefordshire or North Wales or North Norfolk, good luck finding a fast charge point there. Sixth, the cost of public chargers. If you're making a journey of more than 100 miles from home, you're likely to need to top up the battery at a public charge point in order to get you back safely home. Most so-called rapid chargers cost about 75 to 85 pence per kilowatt hour. Most electric cars can manage about 3 miles per kilowatt hour. So to drive 40 miles, which is what most petrol cars can get from a gallon of petrol, will cost about £10.50. But a petrol car with petrol at £1.40 a litre can cover 40 miles for £6.37. That's £1.40 times 4.55. So every mile in an electric car costs about 64% more than in a petrol car. I haven't mentioned depreciation because I have no specific facts to quote, though anecdotally, as you probably know, electric cars are depreciating very rapidly. So there you have it. Electric cars are too expensive to buy, too expensive to run, and challenging on a long journey. And that is why, in 2025, I'll be looking to buy a petrol car with a list price lower than £40,000.